As the Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker wrestled control of the flaming inferno, Chancellor Palpatine, Obi-Wan Kenobi and R2-D2 held on for their lives, as the front half of the invisible hand crashed heavily into the Coruscant landing platform on the surface below. As they exited into the safety of a Senate shuttle bus, Anakin was praised as a hero by the politicians for saving Palpatine and eliminating Dooku, but the Jedi was focused upon reuniting with his secret wife Senator Padme Amidala, whom he had not seen for a while. To Anakin's delight, Padme announces her pregnancy, but his initial feelings of happiness later turned to worry. Anakin awoke in the middle of the night to nightmares of Padme dying in childbirth, and the Senator asks him to tell his master Obi-Wan, but he refuses, deeming his master to be too close to the Council. Eventually, Anakin asks Grandmaster Yoda, which actually increased his confusion and concerns, as he is told to let go of his attachment to Padme. But what if Anakin had told Obi-Wan about his marriage to Padme? What would Obi-Wan tell him to do? Would this prevent his turn to the dark side, or make him more vulnerable? As you'll discover, Anakin's revelation could have shifted the course of history. Anakin stood atop of the veranda, gazing into the night sky of Coruscant, frightened for the life of Padme. The Senator of Naboo walks cautiously towards him and pleads with him to tell Obi-Wan, and Anakin looks to the floor. The Jedi Knight is worried that Obi-Wan would expose his marriage to the Jedi Council, and he would be expelled from the Order. But with encouragement from Padme, Anakin summons Obi-Wan into his Padawan quarters the following day. The Jedi Master is curious as to the nature of this meeting, but all becomes clear as Anakin stutters and stumbles over his words. Obi-Wan is amused, as it was no secret to him that Anakin had a marriage to Senator Amidala, but enjoyed Anakin's awkward struggle. Hearing that Anakin was having nightmares about Padme, however, Obi-Wan is more concerned, as he could not tell Anakin to abandon his marriage for the sake of the Jedi Code. Obi-Wan decides that as he had access to some of the most advanced wealth of Jedi knowledge in the archives, he would learn how to stop Padme from dying and pass the knowledge to Anakin, hopefully blocking his fears. Anakin is now worried that his master would be expelled for such a move, but Obi-Wan reassures him that his priority was to save Padme. With a great weight off of his shoulders for now, Anakin is next summoned to Chancellor Palpatine's office. The secret Dark Lord of the Sith was hoping for Anakin to be conflicted and vulnerable, but to his annoyance, he sensed an unusual calmness over the Jedi, and he pondered whether to appoint Anakin as his representative on the Council. In the end, Palpatine decides that he should, as he needed Anakin to be opposed to the Council, as well as someone who could report on the Jedi's dealings. Entering the Council chamber, Palpatine's prediction of Anakin not being appointed a master becomes true, but Anakin is terrified rather than angry. Obi-Wan pulls him to one side after the meeting and reassures Anakin that the decision had nothing to do with his marriage with Padme, rather the stage in the war, and that he would have his vote of confidence to become a master once the mysterious Sith Lord had been caught. Obi-Wan watches Anakin disappear down the temple corridor, knowing that he had disobeyed the Council himself, as he had not told him of the mission to spy on the Chancellor. Behind him, he hears the faint footsteps of Yoda, and Obi-Wan could sense the Grandmaster understood his predicament. Yoda summons Obi-Wan to his quarters and instructs him to watch Anakin as closely as possible, even if that meant observing the Chancellor as well. Obi-Wan respectfully bowed his head, searching for his Padawan in the Force. The Jedi Master walks into the temple hangar and takes one of the station speeders into Coruscant Entertainment District, sensing Anakin's presence growing closer. The curious Jedi Master walks inside the galaxy's opera house with many of the other civilians and found his way into the Mon Calamari ballet performance, as his eyes narrowed as seeing Palpatine and Anakin seated together. Obi-Wan smoothly took a seat next to the Jedi Knight, and Palpatine welcomed the presence of the Jedi Master. Continuing to watch the performance, Obi-Wan became slowly suspicious of Palpatine's intrigue in Anakin, and afterwards they convened in Padme's apartment. Anakin reveals that Palpatine had been empathetic of Anakin's dislike for the Order, as well as offering a way to save Padme. The Jedi Master is horrified at the thought, and it confirms some of the suspicions made by Mace Windu and Yoda that the dark side surrounded Palpatine, and they needed to bring him to justice. Obi-Wan ran back to the temple, and to the station council members, who were discussing what to do with Grievous. The Jedi Master instructs them to forget about the Kaleesh warrior for now, and focus on the newly discovered threat of Palpatine, whom Anakin had uncovered to be a powerful Force user. The Jedi had to move fast before the Sith escaped again. Mace Windu organises the Jedi stationed at the temple, with some protecting their home and others blocking any attempt of an escape. The slightly conflicted Anakin is distracted from his fears, as he is ordered to enter the airspace of Coruscant with the remaining members of the 501st Legion. Mace Windu nominates himself to go to confront Palpatine, with others on standby, and he entered into a Republic gunship. The Master of the Order confidently marched into Palpatine's office, expecting to see the Supreme Chancellor in his seat, but he was gone. Windu looked at the window, but there was no sign of an escape, so the Jedi Master orders all the clones and Jedi to be on maximum alert. Aboard the Republic cruiser on Coruscant, Anakin watched the top of the bridge when he saw a faint wisp drift past him. Ordering the hyperdrive docking rings to be locked immediately, they were too late, as what they assumed to be Palpatine had disappeared. The Sith Lord was on his way to Utapau, having sensed that Anakin would not be turned, and the Jedi were on his tail. Landing in one of the many layers of Pau City, Sidious casually leapt up the levels to a separatist meeting led by Grievous. The cyborg bowed to the Dark Lord of the Sith, and Sidious set about deploying his most devastating weapon. Back on Coruscant, the hunt for Palpatine was continuing, but their priority was to deprive him of his excessive powers. In the Senate, the lack of separatist presence had allowed Senator Amidala and Senator Organa to put forward a vote of no confidence, giving evidence as to the nature of the corruption, in particular citing the Republic's financial misdemeanors. The vote to remove Palpatine would take a while to get through, and in the meantime, the Sith Lord planned to use his remaining powers. On Utapau, the Sith Lord stood in the centre of the hangar bay and proudly executed Order 66. All around the galaxy, clones began to fire at the Jedi they had served under throughout the war, but unfortunately for the Sith Lord, the Jedi were prepared. Padme had read through the list of powers that had been granted to the Chancellor throughout the duration of his reign, and had found Contingency Order No. 66, which aimed to eliminate the Jedi acting against the interests of the Republic. Although they didn't have enough time to stop Order 66, they could reduce the fatalities. Given his close connection to the clones, Anakin ensured that at least all of the clone commanders had their inhibitor chips removed, and together they began to work their way through the descending ranks. Most of the clones perished either at the hands of their superiors or the blades of their generals, but the Jedi had saved themselves in the temple. The council members convened for an emergency meeting and discussed how they were going to go about capturing Palpatine. Even if his political power was removed, the Jedi would be failing their role as peacekeepers if a Sith Lord remained on the loose. From Kashyyyk, Grandmaster Yoda has a dark idea, and it concerned the Supreme Chancellor's Vice Chair Mas Amedda. The Chalgrian politician was still on Coruscant, and the Jedi felt that he had facilitated Palpatine's escape. The 3 Jedi Council members of Anakin Skywalker, Mace Windu and Obi-Wan Kenobi go to the Senate building and find Mas Amedda calmly seated in the Senate holding chamber. The Vice Chair orders the guards to attack him, but the Jedi dismiss them easily and place their blades at his throat. Entering his mind, they discover that Palpatine had left from a hangar in the underworld of Coruscant, and there was a database of the previous locations from the docking bay. The Jedi each take a speeder, and avoiding some of the clones who were still under the control of Order 66, they find the location that Mas Amedda revealed to them. With the help of R2-D2, Obi-Wan finds that Palpatine had gone to the planet of Utapau, and he goes back to the temple to relay the information to the other Jedi Masters, whereas Windu and Anakin entered a secret abandoned tower where Sidious had stored all of his Sith artifacts. The area is eerily quiet, and they find a holocron vault similar to that within the Jedi Temple, so decide to take what had been previously theirs. Suddenly, there is a rumble, as it was obvious that they had activated a trap, and the room began to cave in, then detonated. Obi-Wan sensed something was amiss at the temple, and his attempts to communicate with the council members through his comlink were met with silence. Yoda moves himself on Plo Koon to arrest Palpatine, whereas Obi-Wan would go to rescue Windu and Anakin, as he felt his Padawan's presence fading away. It was now or never for the Jedi. Obi-Wan gathered the remains of his 212th Battalion, and together they took a low-altitude assault gunship to save Anakin and Windu. The 2 Jedi are trapped beneath the rubble of the collapsing tower, and Obi-Wan directs the clones to use their cables to drag pieces of the debris away, whilst he used the Force to lift the Jedi Council members away to safety and into stretchers. As they head to the Jedi Halls of Healing, Obi-Wan receives an urgent transmission from Jedi Master Shakti at the Jedi Temple, and the clones drop him off at the entrance. As he ran inside to the missions room, he sees that Plo Koon's cruiser had been boarded by the fleet of Grievous, and he and the Wolf Pack are retreating as Grandmaster Yoda, Luminara Unduli and Quinlan Vos were delayed from their battles on Kashyyyk. Obi-Wan and the bandaged Anakin take the remaining Jedi cruiser and rapidly flew towards the coordinates given by the Keldor Jedi Master, hoping that they're being fast enough to save them. Leaving hyperspace, Obi-Wan and Anakin's hopes sunk through the floor as Plo Koon's Star Destroyer was ablaze. Against Obi-Wan's wishes, Anakin leapt into his starfighter and went straight against the might of Grievous's fleet, drawing the fire and allowing Obi-Wan to swoop in and mount a rescue attempt with the remaining clones. Entering the hangar of Grievous's ship, the clones navigated the flames to rescue anybody they could, whilst Obi-Wan saw his old foe Grievous out of the smoke. The droid general welcomes the battle and points his 4 lightsabers at the Sorisu Master, who jumped over him and pushed him into the flames. Grievous's eyes lit up in rage, and he aggressively swung his lightsabers at Obi-Wan, who calmly deflected them all and taunted Grievous by remarking he was nothing but a tool in the failing Sith machine. Disarming 2 of his limbs, Grievous growled in pain, and the Jedi Master force pushed him into the wall, then drove his lightsaber into his chest. Anakin praised his master's efforts as he carried Plo Koon around his shoulders, and they set about joining the Jedi Masters who had completed their battle on Kashyyyk. Leaving the burning remains of Plo Koon's cruiser, they managed to save most of the clones who had been aboard, alongside the Keldor Master himself, and all the Jedi go aboard Obi-Wan's cruiser on the way to Utapau. As they landed on the planet, they were met again by the remainder of the Separatist fire, and they tumbled to the ground in a fireball. As Anakin rolled out of the wreck, Sidious stood over him and deemed him to be a failure, and now he would die. Extending his hands, Force Sunning engulfed Anakin, and he writhed on the floor in pain as the other Jedi were busy with the droid army. Obi-Wan felt Anakin's pain in the Force and saw him in one of the upper levels, then summoned a nearby Viractyl to help him reach his Padawan. Blocking Palpatine's attack, the Dark Lord of the Sith frowned at the Jedi Master, then ignited his blades. Obi-Wan was still feeling the effects of battling Grievous, and his defences were beginning to struggle from the effort, until Yoda intervened. Sidious was forced to increase the power of his strikes, but combined with the recovering Anakin, Sidious was pushed to the ground, then unexpectedly took blaster fire from his back. The clones have finally broken out of their control of Order 66, as the vote of no confidence against Palpatine had gone through in the Senate, and the Sith Lord's reign of deception was over. Leaving the planet, Anakin was forced to heal again, but he had no time, as from Coruscant, he received a transmission from Senator Bail Organa that Padme was about to give birth. Anakin brushed off his pain and urged the ship to speed up as it surged to the galactic city, leaping into his starfighter, whilst Obi-Wan distracted the other Jedi. Padme is placed in the Grand Republic's medical facility under the care of medical droids, as Anakin arrives just in time with Obi-Wan to witness the birth of the new twins in Luke and Leia. To their horror, Yoda is standing with his cane outside of the entrance, and Anakin expected to be expelled, but the elderly Grand Master welcomed the arrival of the twins, as he decided that the Jedi Code had to change. The growth of the Sith had been as a result of a lack of Jedi evolution, and through a majority vote on the Council, attachments were now allowed in the Jedi Order. Anakin breathed a sigh of relief, and he is soon surprised again, as the Council also granted Anakin the rank of Master, fulfilling one of his lifelong ambitions. Anakin looked to his master Obi-Wan and bowed. That is it for What If Anakin Told Obi-Wan About His Marriage. If you enjoyed this What If, please like this video, turn on that notification bell, click that subscribe button on this channel, as well as on my other channel What If Films. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd all like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.